Since the beginning of the Syrian conflict back in 2011, there's been hundreds of documented attacks into medical facilities and hospitals. And this is of great importance because historically, these medical centers have been protected of warfare, Margaret. And now we see that since Russia took the leading voice in the attack against the rebels in Syria, we've had 4 different attacks to hospitals. The most recent in the province of Idlib, the Sarmin hospital, 12 victims that died there. And this region has been attacked before. They have been hit with chlorine attacks, it has been hit with mortar fire, and now they say this is the first one that they really felt the amp on the intensity of the attack, and they attribute it to the Putin forces.
I mean, well, we've seen 313 attacks in Syria on Syrian hospitals since this conflict began 4.5 years ago. The Russians are doing this because they understand that hospitals treat rebels. They're targeting those rebels, and this should be off limits. It's so sickening. Not only the Russians, Jose, but the Syrian government has attacked hospitals. The U.S. also, we've hit hospitals in the past before, and there should be an understanding that this is an act of war, and this is a criminal act of war. For any government to do this, it's disgusting. It shouldn't be protected or understood or, swept under the rug as it has been. 313 attacks on hospitals in Syria. This is enough. We're killing doctors and people who are treating patients. They should have a protected status.
Almost 700 medical personnel have been killed in these attacks in the 4 years and a half. And now, referring to the U.S. drone attack that hit that hospital in Kunduz, Afghanistan, Doctors Without Borders move forward and say we need an investigation in the framework of the Geneva Convention as a war crime. Absolutely. But in Syria, it's different. We cannot call for the Geneva Convention because it's not an international conflict. Now, if it's granted that Russia did these attacks, maybe the Geneva Convention kicks in. But since it's a civil conflict within this territory, the Geneva Convention does not apply. So they cannot, accuse them of a war crime. But the proof that there's a systematic attack to the rebel territories is clear. Just last year, they had this chlorine weapons attack that they had 5,000 patients in that same hospital, 10 different airstrikes to that same hospital that it's in the heart of the area where the rebels have been doing the most gain in the recent months.
Well, Assad certainly has a powerful friend in Russia holding on to his power in Syria, and this uprising of rebel groups, ISIS is really troubling to me, and we haven't heard stories yet of the treatment of ISIS, but the grip, Russia is trying to break up ISIS and at the same time hitting rebels. It is a shit show. They should stop tearing down, destroying everything is my point, not just specific targets. This is a prime example of that.
I think that the specific target is the rebels and the support of the Assad regime, and I think it needs to stop. Also, the problem that these hospitals face is really, really tough because they need doctors to come. Doctors are not feeling the safety guarantees that they need to go do their work, and they also have a duty as doctors to attend and to give care to anyone that comes to the door. So it's a very complicated position for the physicians, and they risking their life in order to save other lives that are involved in this conflict. But we want to know your opinion. Please share it below in the comment section, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the Lib TV 2.